You know what I've learned? African parents don't believe in love. They believe in investigation. Love is not emotional to African parents. Love is administrative. You tell an African parent, Mom, Dad, I'm seeing someone. They don't say, oh, congratulations. They say, seeing them where? Like, am I stalking or dating? African parents don't want to know if you're happy. They want to know if you're about to suffer. Because happiness can change. Suffering is permanent, right? Yeah. So red flag number one. What does her father do? That is the first question. Not is she kind, not does she respect you, no. What does her father do? Because African parents don't date individuals, they marry entire villages, right? You say he's a farmer. Immediately your parents stop breathing because farmer can mean two things, either owns land or owns problems. So if you say he passed away, now you're in trouble. Because African parents don't hear passed away, they hear we're about to replace him. Your father's like, so now I'm the father. Red flag number two, family background. African parents don't ask about your partner, they do background checks, right? Where is she from? How many siblings? Are they all alive? Why do you need a head count? Like you're preparing relief food? If the siblings are many, your mother whispers, so school fees are coming? Even if you're not married, even if you don't have children, African parents plan suffering in advance, right? Red flag number three, education. African parents believe love is temporary, education is forever. You say she didn't finish school, but they say, well, finish what? African parents don't care about potential. Potential doesn't pay you rent, right? They say if you're both confused, who will lead the family? That's not advice, that's an insult in question form. Red flag number four. Privacy is suspicious. African parents hate privacy, right? Privacy is rebellion. You, yeah, it is a rebellion. You lock your phone, your mother is already offended. She says, so now you're hiding things, right? Hiding what? My memes? Yeah. African parents believe love means access. If you're in a relationship, your partner should know your password, your PIN, your email, your childhood nickname. If someone says, I need space, African parents say, space for what? Are you an astronaut? So, red flag number five, many problems African parents don't believe in financial struggle. They believe in bad decisions. You say she's just going through a hard time. They say, so are we. But we didn't choose her. African parents fear one thing in relationships, right? Not cheating, not lies, transport money. The moment your partner asks for transport twice, your parents already hate them. Once is emergency, twice is character. African parents hear, can you help me with transport? They translate it into, this is your future, right? Red flag number six, too much love. African parents don't trust affection. If your partner calls too much, texts too much, visits too much, your parents say, this one is distracting you, right? Distracting me from what? Suffering? African parents believe love should be balanced, not happy, happy. If you're smiling too much, they suspect witchcraft. Yeah, you laugh with your partner, your mother says, you people are not serious. Red flag number seven, marriage pressure, right? African parents will rush into relationships like food without a fridge. You date for 3 months. They ask, so what are your intentions? Intentions? I just learned her second last name. Yeah, last week. African parents believe relationships expire if you don't marry fast, right? Someone will steal your partner, as if adults are unattended luggage. They say, if you're not serious, let them go. Let them go where? To who? Is there a waiting list? Red flag number eight. Advice from married aunties. Never take relationship advice from African aunties, right? Who starts with, in marriage, you must endure. Endure what? Prison has endurance. Marriage should not feel like community service, right? African aunties will tell you to stay for the children, right? Which children? We're just dating. African aunties survive marriage, right? They did not heal. Red flag number nine. Church and respectability. African parents love church, but not love stories. If your relationship doesn't look respectable, it's a red flag. They say, does she go to church? You say, yes. They say, which one? Because some churches are still suspicious. African parents believe God watches relationships like a CCTV. Yeah. So African parents don't want you to be happy, right? They want you to be safe. Safe from poverty, safe from embarrassment, safe from marrying someone who will borrow salt every morning. If your relationship survives, African parents, that thing is real because African parents are not looking for love. They're looking for risk management. Yeah, not love for the weak. Yeah, for the wicked. You know what African parents fear most in relationships? Delay. African parents hate delays. Delay means things are going wrong. If something is good, it should move fast. If it's slow, someone is about to embarrass the family, right? Red flag number 10. How old are you? How old are you again? African parents don't ask your age to celebrate you. They ask to panic. You tell them your age, they repeat it slowly. 32. And then, not shocked, not angry, just disappointed in time itself. Yeah, African parents treat age like milk, right? Once it expires, everyone starts blaming you. Red flag number 11. Marriage is not romantic. African parents don't see marriage as love. Marriage is logistics. Your parents ask. They don't ask. Are you compatible? They ask. Can you can you manage life together? That's not romance. That's a business meeting, right? African parents don't believe in soulmates. They believe in tolerance. If you can tolerate someone long enough, love will eventually feel tired and sit down. Red flag number 12. Wedding expectations. African parents don't want a wedding. They want an event. The wedding is not about you. It's about proving something to people you don't even talk to. Yeah. So African parents say, we don't want anything big. They invite the entire province. Wow. You say, we want something simple, right? They say, okay. Then add cows. Yeah. Red flag number 13. Bride price pressure, right? Bride price is not negotiation, right? It's spiritual debt. African parents don't ask, can you afford it? They ask, when are you paying? Yeah. If you hesitate, they say, so you don't value our daughter. Value? I love her. I'm just broke, African parents don't believe in installments. They believe in suffering once properly. Red flag number 14. In-laws monitoring your life, right? African parents don't stop parenting when you marry. They just expand departments, right? Now you have your parents and their parents. Yeah. In-laws don't ask questions. They issue observations. Like, you people eat out a lot. You people sleep late. You people laugh too much. Too much joy is suspicious. African parents believe peace means something is being hidden. Red flag number 15, comparisons. African parents love comparisons. Comparisons are motivation. They say your cousin is married. Your cousin is also miserable, but they never mention that part. African parents only compare achievements, right? Never happiness. They don't say your cousin is peaceful. They say your cousin built a house, even if no one is living in it. Red flag number 16. Control disguised as advice, right? African parents don't control you. They advise you aggressively. They say, we are not forcing you right before forcing you. African parents don't say, do what makes you happy. They say, do what makes sense. Sense is code for what we already decided. Red flag number 17. Gender expectations. African parents have clear roles, right? Very clear, very unfair. No? If you're a man and struggling, they say, be strong. If you're a woman and struggling, they say, endure. Different words, same suffering. Yeah. So African parents don't believe in emotional balance. They believe someone must suffer quietly for the family to function, right? Red flag number 18, child pressure, children pressure. African parents don't believe in waiting. Waiting is dangerous. You're married today, tomorrow they ask. So when are we hearing the good news? What news? The wedding photos just came out yesterday. Yeah, it came out yesterday. African parents think babies are proof of seriousness. If there's no child, they assume someone is doing something wrong. Usually, the woman, always unfairly. Red flag number 19, respect over everything. African parents don't prioritize love, they prioritize respect. Even when respect looks when respect looks like fear, they enjoy. They say in this family, respect elders, right? Which means don't question anything, even if it doesn't make sense. So African parents don't raise you to be happy, they raise you to survive. They survived. Yeah. So they think survival is the goal. But love is not survival. Love is partnership. And African parents, they are just trying to protect you from a life they already suffered through. Yeah. They don't mean harm. They just don't know another way, right? Yeah. You know what's funny about African parents, right? They don't think they're strict. They think they're normal. They look at us and say, we turned out fine. Did you though? Red flag number 20. We suffered, so you must also. African parents believe suffering builds character, right? That's why they're suspicious of comfort, you know? Yeah, if something is easy, they think it's wrong. You say, this relationship is peaceful, right? They say, peaceful how? Like, African parents don't trust happiness, right? That didn't involve struggle, right? Red flag number 21, emotional silence. African parents don't talk about feelings, right? They talk about results. Mm-hmm. You don't hear African parents say, I'm proud of you. You hear, at least you didn't embarrass us. That's a compliment. Yeah. African parents don't say, I love you. They say, did you eat? Which is love, but aggressive. Red flag number 22. Trauma disguised as tradition, right? Some things are not culture, they're just unhealed pain. Yeah. African parents say, this is how we were raised. Yeah, this is how we were raised. Like, yes, and you are stressed. Yeah. Just because something is traditional doesn't mean it's healthy. But don't say that too loud, right? They say you've been corrupted by the internet. Red flag number 23. Modern love confuses them, right? African parents don't understand modern relationships. They don't understand dating apps. They don't understand boundaries. They don't understand therapy. You tell your parents we're working on communication, right? Yeah, they say communication of what? As if talking is suspicious. Yeah, so if African parents think love is proven by endurance, not understanding, yeah. Red flag number 24. Choosing yourself looks like disrespect. The moment you choose peace, African parents think you're rebellious, right? You say, this relationship doesn't make me happy. You say, life is not about happiness. Then what is it about? Suffering Olympics, maybe? African parents confuse boundary with disobedience because they were never allowed to say no. Red flag number 25. Apologies are rare, right? African parents don't apologize. They adjust their behavior slightly and expect you to notice. They'll cook your favorite food. They'll call you randomly. They'll give you money, but say sorry, never. You know, it's, it's a thing. African parents don't say I was wrong. They say, let's move on. Red flag number 26. Love versus fear. African parents raised us with fear because fear worked for them. But fear doesn't build love, it builds obedience. And obedience doesn't prepare you for relationships, it prepares you for silence, right? That's why so many African relationships struggle. We were trained to endure, not to express. Red flag number 27. Healing is seen as weakness. African parents don't believe in healing. They believe in forgetting. Yeah, you have to forget. You say, I'm healing. They say, healing from what? Did someone beat you? Yeah. African parents think pain only counts if it was physical. Emotional pain, they say, just be strong. Red flag number 28. Breaking the cycle. Here's the scary part. At some point, you realize you're becoming your parents. Yeah. You catch yourself saying things like, in my time, and you're only 30. Breaking cases, cycles is hard because the cycle feels familiar, not because it's right. Yeah. Our parents loved us the best way they knew how, right? Not perfectly, but intentionally. They were trying to protect us from a world that broke them. They just forgot to teach us how to be soft in a safe world, right? So when it comes to relationships, we are learning love without a manual, right? Healing while dating, setting boundaries, while still respecting culture. And if your relationship survives African parents, respect. That thing is not just love, that thing is generational progress. Yeah, yeah.